Good morning, everybody. You're watching Crush It Trading Live. We're doing the recaps for March 12th, 2025. And actually, we're doing them for March 11th. The trade of the day yesterday was Meta, and we had a really good trade. So we'll get into that one right away here. So basically, we had a typical A+ setup on Meta on the Crush It zone. And I did have a key level here at 612.73. So let's just get into this here right away. When you play the Crush It zone, there's really not a lot about the recap. It's pretty basic. It's pretty simple. We get our Fibonacci levels in. We look for what we call the Crush It zone, the 1.0 or the 1.382 level. And, Meta came out pretty strong out of the open here. So we get up to the Crush It zone here, and we look for our entry here at the Crush It zone. So let me remove the candles here real quick. I like to do this so you can see, because basically the entry is based on your moving averages, right? And what we want is we want to see, actually, what do I got in here? Must have been doing something here, so we'll get rid of that. All right. So I'm on the 10-second. And we're waiting for this 9 to cross the 20, which we don't get that until about 9:51. So this is where I get my starter, okay? Make sure I got this set up right. Okay. That's not the one that I wanted. So this is my starter here. You can see that the 9 crosses the 20, so it's the first thing I'm looking for. Price does kind of consolidate for a little bit on the 10-second. We don't get our second entry or add position until price at the moving averages actually break the 50 SMA on the 10-second. So here is where we add to our position, right, on Meta. And now once we're in our position, there is no need to look at the 10-second anymore, because the 10-second will fake you out, okay? So just get rid of the 10-second, and now here we are. Put a risk reward in here. Now we're looking for a move in the Crush It zone area here. For a move to the downside. We want to get down to what I call the 0 line here. And we would stop ourselves out at this high right here. We got a 3.78 risk reward ratio. And where would we start scaling? Now remember, I'm trying to hold now to the 0.382. So let me just put the 0.382 in here so you can check this out quick. Here we go. So lately, I've been trying to hold most of my position to the 0.382. What I've been noticing is that, a lot of times once we get to that 0.68, that, it's been pretty volatile. So we're usually getting to the 0.382 most of the time. And I was doing the stats on it. And if we try to hold to the 0.382, we tend to make a little bit more money in the long run. So first scale in here, but I got to be honest, I'm trying. I did scale this one out a little bit early too. So I did take it. The contracts paid very well right here at the 0.618. So we had scale one. Now I was in a small account here. So because I was in the small account, I didn't have a whole lot of contracts to mess with. So I was out of this trade here right when we got below VWAP again. So let me back up. I was out of the trade here at this break right here. Sorry about that. And that was the trade on Meta yesterday, you guys. So I had 3 contracts, scale, scale, and scale. Did very well on that one. I think a couple of you guys took that one also. So a beautiful move to the downside on Meta. Also, we took an NVIDIA trade yesterday. I believe we took NVIDIA. Was that yesterday or the day before? NVIDIA trade had a, we have this head and shoulders kind of in the Crush It zone area here. But what I'm looking for is kind of this retest. So when I get through here, I want to get back into the Crush It zone, look for that retest for the move to the downside here on NVIDIA. So let me open this and we'll see this on the 10-second here. There we go. Get this moved up. So we get into the crutch zone. We don't have an entry in the crutch zone. I don't like this so far just because we broke the crutch zone already. So I want to see some more confirmation. I'm probably going to want to get below the 50 SMA at this point. And then you can see it continues to break above. And then we get this breakdown below the 50-day. We have this retest the 50-day at 9:56, which is close to the 10 o'clock hour, which I like. And you get a decent move, a start of a decent move to the downside. You would have not gotten stopped out on this 50 right here. And you could have got a deeper move here down to the 107.92 area roughly on NVIDIA. So that was the other one. This one here, the conditions are pretty volatile. So, be careful out there. It's easy to get shooken out of this market. So just going small size right now. Waiting for an A+ setup. This week has been a little bit tough with the volatility of the crush it zone. So what we're looking for is nice, clean touches. We don't have super clean touches, so we got to take our time and make sure we're getting into some good trades. But take a peek at this head and shoulder type thing here. This is what you're going to see a lot of times in the crush it zone. And when you get this formation here, this is kind of why I try to wait till that break at the 50 SMA here. So once we break that, that's a good move for a good spot for a move to the downside. And you can see it does try to shake us out here and does get below the 50 SMA also again. Let's go into Apple real quick here. Apple, we don't get a crush it zone trade. Pulls right through the crush it zone here. You can see it here on the 10-second. Boy, I was moving around here a lot today. Here it is. So when we get the entries, right? When we pass them up, and when we're channeling here through the crush it zone, we do not have an entry on here. You see that on Apple? So we don't have anything going on here. There's no entries. I don't like these. Yes, it does come back up. We get the moving averages over here. We get above the 50. A lot of people like to take these. That's fine. You can. They may work just fine, but I don't take them. I like clean touches in the crush zone, so I just wait for those A+ setups for me. As far as Apple goes today to the downside, we're at the 200-day. We are gapping up a little bit. We do have this zone, this old gap zone, which was filled a while back, but I like to keep them up here for a few more days. So we'll see what happens here in this gap zone on Apple. It's not going to really be on my watch list, but if we get a crush zone trade, maybe we'll contemplate it. AMD, I have this daily level that I've been keeping track of here on AMD, and this daily level is at about $100 roughly. And so I think this is a key level. So we can see today on AMD if we possibly can get a move to the upside here. We'll break this, retest it, and move to the upside again. And depending on how strong it goes today, if we do get a strong market, we can retest this key level here at 101.75 to the upside. If it decides to go to the downside, I do have this ascending trend line here, which we could see maybe a little bit of a pop and fade here, and then a retest at this ascending trend line for a move to the downside on AMD. And then we'll see how that lines up with the crush zone also. Okay. Yesterday, we kind of got to the crush zone. Just a little bit shy. You have to use your, your intuition just a little bit on these to see if we get a move on it. And what we're looking for here is this crush zone. And, we get up here a while back. We don't quite get there. So we're not really getting in on this trade yet because I'm waiting for a touch. And then as this goes, what I like is you have the 50 SMA, where's it at here? Gets below the 360 and everything kind of falls into place. When we move down here, I got this little bit of a retesting. So I like the fact that we're below the 50 SMA here. We kind of got this retest. And here you can see we continue to the downside on AMD. Microsoft, I haven't been watching. I'm just waiting for Microsoft to get down to the this zone down here. Somewhere's in the 360s area for some kind of ad for my retirement account. But other than that, nothing I'm really going to be trading or looking at on Microsoft today. But if you look at the 1 hour chart here, this is where I like to set my levels for the day. We do have the previous day low, and then we also have the previous day high, which is at this daily level right here. So you could either see one or two things happen here. Also, I like to break and retest. So if it's closer to the daily level, we could see this break above the 50 for a move to the upside, and then also we have a long ways to go to get down to the previous day low right here. But not really looking at Meta, or I'm sorry, not looking at Microsoft for anything. So that's Microsoft. Amazon, once again, nothing going on. We blow through the crush it zone. Here it is again. We don't have anything in here. Eventually, we do come back, right? We come back through the crush it zone. We're looking for nice, clean touches. You can see I have a sell now signal here on the 1. This is our beta testing. This thing is working absolutely phenomenal. I love where it's going, but we're going to keep it up here for another month or two and just kind of monitor it and watch it. I'm going to be keeping data on it. So, but right now it's showing some really good signs that it's going to be a good trader. But here it is right here. If we want to take this down here, we got a nice clean touch at the crush it zone. And we wait for our moving averages to kind of get in order here. They are a little sloppy, but we do have an entry right here at 197.90. And then once again, you pull below the 50 SMA. We get a little bit of a retest for the move to the downside. And there she goes. We also get the 360 crossover in here, which shows continuation of the downside. So that would be Amazon at the crush it zone. Like I said, it's a little bit hard trading right now, a little volatile. Crush it zones aren't setting up all that well, so be careful on them. Here's NVIDIA. NVIDIA has, the first crush it zone that we get in here, I think I just talked about this. I'm not talking about this one more time, is, that first one here we got in, we blew past the crush it zone, but you also had another setup take place at 11:40, and we had another one take place at 10:40. Okay, so the first one, didn't really work that well. But the second one, look at this. I got this buy signal again. So like I said, this thing is working out really good. And I have a nice move to the upside here. Where are we entering in at is, what day are we on here? The 11th? Do I have the crush it zone on here? There it is right there. So here it is. I like this move to the crush it zone. We have this retest right here for move to the upside. But basically where you're getting in this trade right here is, right? We break that 20 right in here. We get above. You could either, jump in right here, or you can take this retest. So right? A lot of times I tell you when we're on the 10-second, I'll add to the position. You can either wait, get in the retest over here. You don't get a retest. A lot of times you get the retest immediately, and sometimes you got to wait. Sometimes it's just going to go without you, and I'll add into the position here. But if we do get that retest, and it does keep moving on us, then we'll add to that position again. And you can see it does eventually move to the upside. A little shaky, but it gets up there. Okay, then we get to the crush it zone again. And like I'm telling you, I like the clean touches. The clean touches are much better for working with the crush it zone here. So we have a near side. It's just a small move to the downside on NVIDIA, but definitely the better move was that one at 10:40 yesterday on NVIDIA. Going into today on NVIDIA, I mean, it's tough to say. I don't have a bias, but I do have a thesis if we go either way. I'm looking at a couple different levels here on NVIDIA. If we can break the 114.78 level here, look in this. I got a little bit of traffic. I got this, descending trend line in here also. Otherwise, if we just get this move up here and then fade to the downside, well, we'll see how that works out. We are above the previous day high, so we might even get a retest down to the previous day high for a move to the upside. And we'll watch QQQs at the same time to see what that's giving us and see if we got a trade here on NVIDIA. And then we got Tesla, good old Tesla. What are we going to do with Tesla? Okay, Tesla yesterday, we did have a decent setup off the crush it zone. Once again at about 10:49, 10:50-ish. We go over here to the 10-second here. And basically, the rules. These buy signals, like I said, they're working out really good. You can see them here. When you get these buy signals, what I'm noticing is we got to wait for price action to get above the 20 EMA, and that's going to give us more confidence for that move to the upside. But here for our general entry right here, we're looking for that entry at the 9 crossing the 20, and then you can see we get above the 50, and then we get the retest right here. Not really a retest, but you get that pullback for continuation of the side, up to the upside. This is where you'd be adding to this position in here, and you have a pretty decent move to the upside for the rest of the day on Tesla. So really nice trade there on Tesla. Now going into today, what are we looking at on Tesla? Let's see here. Let me open this up. I like to look at the hourly. Big move to the downside. Tesla's better than news. Look at that nice buy signal right here off of that old level that we have. So I have an old level here. Let me open this up just a little bit more in the daily. So you can see from the 10th, I'm sorry, October 24th, 2024, I have this level right here. We have a nice buy signal on Tesla. So we'll see how this plays out today. I mean, that's a pretty good level right there. So if we get below that, we got a nice big window to the downside. I don't know that we'll get below there today, but it's definitely something to watch. I have that highlighted on the charts here. But Tesla, we're at the 50 SMA on the hourly. So to me, this is pretty critical. I think that, if we get above this right here, we might see a retest of the downside here at the open for just a drawback for a move to the upside. I'd be looking for Tesla a move up to it's a $10 move to get up into that gap zone. Otherwise, I'd be looking at previous day lows, which is a little bit ways away. So one of the levels I'd like to add in here is I'm going to take these levels right here, and this looks like a pretty decent level too. So I would watch this too. If Tesla decides to come back at the open, we might look for a break here and a retest for a move to the downside at the 235.40 level. Okay, so we'll keep those on our charts and we'll see how these line up with the crusher zones, and we're looking for confluence. If we get some nice confluence, that's really going to help us with the confidence on that trade to either side. But like I said, Tesla right now is trying to break above the 50 SMA on the hourly. So we'll see if we do get a push up to the old gap zone that we had just filled. All right, that's all I got for today, guys. Just be careful, stay calm, don't panic, wait for the right setup. It hasn't been the best week for our crusher zones, but we'll still keep trying. That's the thing with probability is you have to keep taking them. You can't pick and choose. In order for the probability to work out on your side, you have to take most of these trades. All right. So with that said, anybody have any questions? Otherwise, I'm gonna get ready for the open here. All right. So we got about 25 minutes or so. So let me know. All right, guys. See you in a few minutes.